Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. Dun dun. It's time to draw. It's time to be drawn to fantasy.
Let's draw.
Let's draw.
To fantasy. To fantasy.
There's Tom Hoffelder just making sure we're playing the theme. Oh yeah, Tom, we're playing it till the end of time. Oh yeah, Jolene.
Hey guys.
Wow, Kevin Maturk is watching.
Dean Baxendale's here.
And Angel Terrell Voss.
And Dave Peterson.
Yeah. Along with Brandon Powers.
What's happening, guys?
How you doing? It's time for Drawn to Fantasy. I'm your host, Tony DiTerlizzi, with my effervescent and intoxicating wife and co-host, Angela DiTerlizzi. We are drawn together to fantasy.
And Kevin McTuck.
Not to mention the one and only Eric Burkert and Leonard Foldy.
And Josen Alona.
And June Gallagher.
And Lexi.
We're all here. We did it. We did it. We did it. All right. I'm super excited. Okay, so today's episode.
How excited are you?
I'm a little excited. I'll tell you why, Ange. Today's episode is a part one.
Yes.
Of a many-part thing we're going to do. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. And it's all about... Michael Jackson.
Well, you know, that was just an incident.
Spiderwick Sprites. All right,
You asked for it, folks.
That's it. You guys asked for it. I've been thinking about this. I had to do a think. To be completely transparent, I was a little in a free fall last few days. I had a lot of stuff on my mind. My drawing of an alien went okay. It wasn't, riveting. Hopefully we at least entertained you with our impressions of the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland.
Wait, is Lex Rudd here too?
Wow.
Did somebody say Lex is here?
Very exciting. Wow, that's terrific. Well, thank you all for coming and joining us on this wonderful Wednesday. We have had requests to draw Spiderwick stuff. We have had requests to do a painting demo.
Yes.
So guess what, Ange? I'm thinking
we're
going to do the whole caboodle. Now, if you're not familiar, in the Spiderwick Field Guide...
Wait, what's Spiderwick? No, just checking.
Available in fine bookstores everywhere, including online. One of my favorite spreads that I painted, and I painted a lot of things in this book, but one of the things that was my favorite was this page spread right here, which was basically an insect collection of sprites. It was so inspiring to the staff at Simon & Schuster.
Today should be episode 18. You've been corrected.
Oh, all right. Good to know. I will make the edit. I will make the edit. Thank you, Tom. It's really like Groundhog Day, Tom. I feel like we're doing the same thing over and over every day, but not today. Today, we are going to paint Spiderwick sprites and kind of how I came to it. Now, I hadn't painted sprites in a while, but I returned to that subject matter, Ange.
Yes.
Back in 2017 for things like this. This was part of the Norman Rockwell exhibition, and I created a mobile of hundreds of Tony D. Spiderwick-esque sprites.
On. I'm changing the playlist. I'm sorry.
You've
Do
got
you know why?
Why? Oh, she's playing the
Because
Spiderwick.
I put the Spiderwick soundtrack on.
Oh, you did it. And you know what? This little fairy's happy. So how did this plastic fairy, there were hundreds of these hanging from the ceiling at the Norman Rockwell Museum and at the Mint Museum. How did we get there? Well, it started with a painting. There's the painting that was created on Bristol board, which we are going to get to. We're going to get to that painting. Before it was a painting... It was a color study where I figured out what the colors were and what they weren't. And before that, it was a little wee sketch on a page full of sketches of fairies. So over the course of what I'm going to guess will take us into next week, today we're going to design the fairy. We're going to come up with a finished idea for the fairy, like I did here. Then we're going to do a color study of that fairy. And then I will paint a finished Spiderwick fairy for your entertainment and enjoyment. I hope you like it. I'm looking forward to it.
Everybody, I think it sounds like people are into this.
Very, very good. Now,
People are really excited. Somebody said, I've been waiting for this.
You've been waiting.
The whole time.
Apparently, it's taken me 18 times to finally get it through my thick head. Now, the Spiderwick Fairies were inspired by insects and flowers, in particularly orchids. Now, growing up in South Florida, there were a lot of orchids and in that you would see at nurseries and in people's yards. And unfortunate to say, in our seasonal home, we have orchids in our backyard. It's endlessly inspiring. I mean, Ange, orchids are so amazing and such beautiful plants. There's really not a lot of work I have to do to make it a Sprite. I mean, really, it's where's
the most amazing colors, shapes.
Yes.
The symmetry.
Yes.
Is, I mean, all of it.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
You put a face on it and some insect legs. Someone mentioned praying mantises. There are praying mantises that mimic orchids. They're not found in the United States. I want to say there might be in Asia. But certainly I look at a lot of insects that would practice camouflage, particularly flower-like camouflage. So the Spiderwick Fairies were very much inspired by flowers and nature. And I kind of flipped through this book. I have several books on plants and orchids. And I flipped through this and I paused on this. I can't believe I didn't notice this one. This is Psychopsis papio,
Look at that guy.
otherwise known as the butterfly orchid. I mean, look, it's practically done for me. There's not a whole lot I have to do. So I thought this thing is really cool. So I Googled it because I wanted to see more. Now my color printer's broken, or it's down, it needs maintenance. And so I have black and white printers, but look at that. It already, whoever mentioned praying mantis, this already looks like a praying mantis. Here's some beautiful botanical drawings. Several more botanical drawings. Just a Google, and you're going to get to see amazing examples of this plant. Psychopsis papio, the butterfly orchid. So I'm going to start with that. I did that part instead of us taking an hour for me flipping through a bunch of pages. I narrowed it down so I have something that inspired me. I hope it inspired you, seeing these photographs the way it inspired me. So I'm going to start with that. And then we're going to design this sucker, and then maybe we'll get the design done today, and then we can move on to thinking about colors and stuff tomorrow.
Super cool.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Jen Shekel says, can I just say how excited I am about this process from sketch to final painting? Hooray for Spiderwick Fairies.
Thank you, Jen. I'm excited too. I got to tell you, I felt like I was in a little bit of a free fall, as I said, Ange. I felt like I didn't quite know what to do each day. I want to draw for you guys. I want to do stuff, but I want us to kind of have our act together a little more than we had the last couple of days.
Listen, the reality is, as much as we're trying to create normalcy in this is not normal.
Yeah.
And we're still trying to figure out the routine. It's changing.
Yeah.
You know, we're also arranging our Zoom meetings and our conference calls and, all of the other stuff that's still going on around this because we want to be here for everybody.
That's right.
So now that we've got our 3:00 slot, we're making it work.
We're making it work.
But yes, it's okay to not have those days where it's like 100% clicking for you. That's it. And you have to respect that, and you have to be gentle with yourself on those days.
I like that. Will you be gentle with me? If I'm gentle with me?
Always gentle.
Okay. Ange, right now I'm just debatable.
That's our kids.
That's our kids' favorite line.
Debatable.
That's her
right.
her
Just
punch.
do the best we can, David May said.
You're right, David May. We're all hanging in there together. We're doing this. And Molly Partridge wants to know if I go outside and take inspiration from the outside world. Molly, I'm not going to disrupt the phone, but scattered around my desk are leaves from last fall or last autumn that I collected from the yard that still provide me so much inspiration. Just the veination, the color may be long gone, but the veination still inspires. So
guess what? Jen Junkie got her garbage in the mail today.
Nice. I hope you enjoyed our garbage.
Woohoo!
Jolene's went out today in the mail. So Jolene, keep an eye peeled for some garbage. And I'm getting a little crazier with the garbage, Ange, I got to tell you.
This is, okay, somebody Joanne Lone said, How did you just do this so fast already?
Well, I've got the photo right here, so I'm looking at that. But right now, before I even want to make it a creature, I'm just trying to understand the basic shapes of the flower itself, which are fascinating. And it's absolutely fascinating, Ange. It's fascinating. So I'm just kind of looking at... It's the butterfly orchid is absolutely fascinating. We're here in Western Massachusetts looking for, believe it or not, sprites. That's right. Turns out these rare creatures of folklore and fantasy are alive and well and living in the imaginations of many children across the world and adults who are still embracing their childhood. I think I'll eat one. Did anyone else notice that? When David Attenborough would do any of his shows, he would eat a lot of things. He's like, we're here with the honey pot ant. These ants store honey in their abdomen, and guess what? They're delicious. Everywhere he went, he was eating. I'm like, stop eating. It's going to all be endangered, David Attenborough. Although he's lived to be 104 years old, so maybe it's working.
This is the question right here.
All right, quest.
Alice Bell asks, do you believe in fairies?
Question I get quite a bit, right, Ange? We get asked this one a lot. So does Holly.
You know what? And we actually had that conversation with Brian Froud, who gets that asked that question a lot.
Do I believe in fairies? Well, I felt when I embarked on the Spiderwick books that I needed something that was truthful and honest and something I truly believed in, so that there was no fabrication in my reply, because we knew this would be a question especially young children were going to ask. And what I believe in, and I believe in energy. I believe in energy. We have energy within us. We have electricity within us. And I believe that all living things have energy. This is, no matter what religion you believe in, this also stands true, that we have a soul, a spirit, and energy. And I believe that living things, including plants and trees, certainly insects, also have this energy. And I do think that our senses, our five senses that we have as humans, cannot see or understand everything on this planet. And I don't think we can see energy or understand or see. We may be able to sense it, like lightning before it strikes. But I do think that our limited perception of this world keeps us from seeing all the energy that is present right around us, in the world around us. So do I believe fairies exist? I believe that plants and insects and small animals have energy, and I believe it can manifest in many forms. And I think there are probably times in our life or in history where it made sense for this energy to manifest in a human form, for us to comprehend what we were seeing. I don't know if that's the answer you wanted, but that's what I believe in. And I believe in love. As Elton John once said, I believe in love. It's all we've got.
David May said if Froud doesn't believe in fairies, then nobody does. But guess what? Brian does.
Brian does.
And
he's always believed, but whether he saw a fairy was a big deal, remember?
But then he saw them.
He saw something and he could not explain it.
That's right.
And he did not see it in the moors of Dartmouth? No, where is he? Oh, it's like at the tip of my tongue. He's in a very secluded Devon.
Yes, thank you.
Wooded area of England. Beautiful landscape, moss-covered trees, all sorts of. It looks enchanted. But of all places, he said he saw a fairy in a old hotel in Texas. Was that it, Ange?
I want to say
it was a very odd place. But he said someone came up to him who said they believe, and as they walked away, he saw small beings in the light as it hit the person surrounding him, and he was literally floored. So, we think we've all seen and witnessed things that we can't explain, and so I think my brain always wants to find a logical solution, but I can't always do that. And so here we are.
Well, you are married to a Strega, so.
I am married to a Strega, and we've covered that Strega.
About that.
Ange, I'm still just drawing the orchid. I'm trying to find the beauty. I don't want to betray the beauty that's already there.
Yeah, I agree
And just
with that.
trying to find how I can, you can see why it would be obvious to turn this into a dress and these into long sleeves, which I did with some of the fairies, but I'm also looking at other things. I just want to see. What I definitely think we're going to do for sure is tape another sheet of paper, and these long feathery antennas definitely have to happen. That's
so
a must.
Funny. There's something about when you're looking at it, even in black and white, you've taken away the color. You can't really see the super detailedness of it. It's almost like looking at a cloud in the sky.
I agree.
Where like you're looking at it and everybody's kind of seeing something a little bit different. Like when I glanced at it, I saw almost like the shape of like an Umber Hulk. Like short and squat, and it was almost like arms.
Did you guys hear that? She saw the shape. Say it again?
Of an Umber Hulk.
That's why I married her. She actually knows what an Umber Hulk is and uses it in a sentence. That's why I'm with her, guys. That's it. Good luck finding one like that, because they're rare. How rare? As rare as an Umber Hulk.
Yes, Emily. Emily C. Martin, to answer your question, yes.
Whoa, what was her question?
Am I a Strega?
She's Strega. Runs in her family. I'm thinking the face is here. For obvious reasons, it looks like a face should be there. I'm not 100%. We're going to get there. The other thing I want to grab really quick is my insect book. I'm grabbing it.
Grab your insect book, honey.
Grabbing it.
Been playing too much D&D, Ange. Is there such thing as too much D&D?
No, there really isn't.
No. In fact, we've been playing too little D&D.
That's right.
We're having D&D withdrawals.
We are. This I've had since I was a Boy Scout. It was given to me as a Boy Scout to turn DiTerlizzi the Bugman. I've had it since then. It is a terrific book. Why? Look at that. I don't have to figure out what their veins are like, Ange. I can just use these charts and graphs to draw the perfect, most realistic veins. So anyway, this always is very helpful. So I'm going to keep that handy. I needed it. I felt like I needed like a security blanket, Ange. I needed it. So I'm going to play a little bit with the face. I feel like if I can lock on the face...
Hey, buddy. Did Pippin go out? He's looking at me like he needs something.
He might. I mean, I let him out
Do you
earlier.
have to go for a walk?
I let him out. Oh.
I'll be back.
Ange will be leaving us momentarily, but she'll be back.
Come on.
Like the Terminator,
I'll be back.
she will be back. Someone had said praying mantis. I'm kind of thinking of praying mantis-like arms, which I think would be cool. Here's what I love. I love the blend of beautiful and a little creepy. That is like my favorite recipe for art. It's the things that excite me the most, the mixture. I'm going to go in on the face a little bit, and I'm going to goof around. Now, the obvious solution, and this may be the final solution, is to just draw a young girl or a young woman's face. When we think of sprites and fairies, we think of Tinkerbell, we think of the paintings of fairies, and often they are depicted as young women or young men. So I'm going to start with the obvious and see. Now, I've done many different versions. I've done very insect-like ones. I've done very frog-like ones. I've definitely mixed it up. I've tried to do various ethnicities with the fairies and the physical attributes that would go with that, just to kind of give it some diversity within the fairy world. So I'm looking at the some of the stuff that's going on here, and I'm just trying to riff off that.
Hey, guys.
She's back. Wow.
I'm back.
That was a quick pee.
I'm back.
Pippin went.
Soph. That's what kids are for.
Soph's handle.
Kids are for.
So, Ange, I'm going to just start with the obvious right now, just to see what happens if I put just a human attributes on here and just see if this is the way we want to go.
Okie dokie.
I'm not sure. The other thing I did with Spiderwick too is I would draw a very human-looking face, but they would have insect-like eyes. Like they wouldn't be human eyes. And that also kind of helps add to the otherworldliness. So maybe the white of the eyes is dark and the dark of the eyes is light. So let me zoom in. Ange wants me to zoom in so you can see what's going on. I'll do that. Thank you for reminding me, Ange. I don't always remember when I'm busy yammering. Fun fact. Let's tell a story, Ange. The design for the Spiderwick Fairies took years of like designing and refining and figuring it out and looking at fairy artists from all over the world and all different times to try to find what I was hoping would be something fresh. That was like always the mandate for me with Spiderwick was how do I do a fresh new version of a goblin or a troll or a fairy? And John Anster Fitzgerald was a huge influence. He's worth Googling. He's a Victorian fairy artist, and his fairy designs very much carry the DNA of the Spiderwick Fairies. So I was very proud of how they looked in the final book, and as I said, the folks at Simon & Schuster were so inspired that we did the care and feeding of Sprites shortly after, which was kind of exciting to keep going with the idea, pursue it a little deeper. So fast forward maybe a year or so later, and
where this is going.
Ange and I are on a date. We are out to the movies, and we were going to see a film called Pan's Labyrinth.
Anybody ever see that movie, Pan's Labyrinth?
Pan's Labyrinth.
The great Guillermo del Toro.
The Academy Award winning, then not yet, but still very much an amazing director. And I can tell the story because Guillermo knows the story. We are watching it, and in there you see some rainforest-sized walking stick insects, and then they turn into fairies.
It's one of the early scenes.
It's very early in the movie.
Arriving at the house.
Yeah, I want to say that you're right, Ange. It's been a while since I've seen it. Yeah. Ange leans over to me in the movie theater and goes, "Oh my God, Guillermo del Toro is looking at your art."
I said, "Someone's been looking at your fairies."
And I'm like, no. He's Guillermo del Toro. He doesn't need to look at my art or my fairies. He is an amazing and brilliant filmmaker with an amazing and brilliant imagination. Look at this movie we're watching. It's insane. Like, he doesn't need... No, he's not. No. And Ange says...
No.
You're wrong, Tony D.
You're wrong. He's been looking at your fairies.
So we left it at that. And then fast forward some years later, and I met with Guillermo. Little known fact, I was asked to work on The Hobbit when Guillermo was going to be the director for that. He ultimately ended up not doing it.
Wait, because another little known fact, Guillermo wanted to direct Spiderwick.
Guillermo wanted to, but you're ahead of yourself because I meet Guillermo at his house, which was amazing and surreal all in of itself. And he's a lovely person and just as amazing as the person you see on TV. And he says to me, "Tony, I love your art. You know, when I made Pan's Labyrinth, I was looking at your fairies." He said it, right? It was like one of the first things he said. I should have had him say it into the phone so that Angie would have those bragging rights forever and ever. But I was so blown away. He loved Spiderwick. He had wanted to direct the Spiderwick film. That was something he had expressed interest in early on. Yep. And the studio, unfortunately, didn't see how amazing that would have been.
And he loved Wandla. He
gave me some great feedback on Wandla. He read one of the very early drafts of The Search for Wandla and gave me some very amazing feedback on it, which if you look in the acknowledgments, he's acknowledged in the back.
Always listen to Ange. You guys are right.
That's it. There it is. That's really the lesson. That's the takeaway from today. If I've imparted anything on you.
That happened a few times because then I think I did that with somebody else and I was like, oh my gosh, they're totally looking at your stuff. I mean, we've seen it a couple times. There's definitely a couple characters
or TV shows,
or scenes or TV shows, some directly ripping off, some slightly inspired more than others.
Yep.
And so we see it. It's
we see
one
it.
of those things because Tony, and I'm going to brag about him for a moment because he always goes on about me, but obviously, on a personal level, I adore him as my husband, my partner of 27 years.
Aww.
But I will also speak to like the visionary artist that he is to you, RT. And one of the things that I think makes Tony's work so special is he's not just, and we talk about character design, he's not just designing characters, he's not just writing a story, he's really building and envisioning a world. And in the same way that a filmmaker would. And everything looks so real. So when you see the fairies, you're like, oh yeah, those exist. That's the way fairies should look. Because it's all rooted in things that are real. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, plausible. I wanted it to be plausible, right?
Yes. So, yeah, it's pretty... it doesn't surprise me that people look to your stuff and are very inspired by it.
Oh, thank you.
I'm
always flattered by it, most of the time. 90% of the time, and I don't get too upset about it. And I think because... And hold on, I got to just get in there. I got to get her. I'm trying to get her.
You said Maleficent. I think Maleficent also looked at T's fairies.
Yeah, I think there's a goblin that looked a lot like the Spiderwick goblins in that.
Yeah. Yes, the goblins looked just
they had
like the goblins.
I want to say they had the tendrils or something coming off their head.
That was the little green goblins. They looked like, envisioning a world.
Which I had because the goblins in Spiderwick had lures like anglerfish that they would use to lure sprites, because I was thinking in their ecosystem they're eating sprites, and so they therefore use dancing lights to lure sprites to them so they can eat them. Like an anglerfish, which, anyway.
I mean, but that's so cool. I remember when I was a kid and we went to the Natural History Museum in Chicago, and they had a whole exhibit on like deep water fish.
Deep sea fish?
Deep sea fish.
Yep.
And, some might show the lights on it and stuff. And I'm like, that is so cool. It doesn't even seem like it would be real.
Doesn't look real. And a lot of times in museums, Ange, they aren't real. They're models, because the fish are used to living at such depths that the pressure, when they actually catch them in the wild and bring them up to the surface, their bodies fall apart. They literally are used to so much pressure that when they're brought to the surface, they kind of slough apart. It's so sad. So most of what we see in museums are actually little resin models of them. Yeah. I want those resin models. I'd fill the wall. Forget Billy the singing bass. I want Alan the singing anglerfish.
Okay, I have a question to interject with.
Quest away.
Alan Childers asks, what would be a passion project that you would love to work on that isn't your own creation? Is there a property or a story that you would love to envision?
Yes. I have one that I've been slowly working on for years, but I'm reluctant to say what it is. I am. And only because it's a public domain property, and it's not like...
It's not like you're being secretive about it, but it's something that's super close to you, and I feel like you want to hold it close to your vest.
Close to my vest until I figure out exactly how I'm going to do it and when I'm going to do it. And so, yes, there are things. I mean, I had the opportunity to work on the Star Wars book. That was a dream come true for me.
You got to go to.
I got to work with Lucasfilm directly and
go to the archive.
Go to the archive and see, Ralph McQuarrie's original paintings for the film. I mean, that stuff was just so memorable, and George Lucas wanted to see the book and signed off on the book. He really liked the book.
Well, you got called by George Lucas for to work on one of his movies.
We did. That's right. I forgot about that. I actually forgot about that.
We went out we got to go to the
ranch,
Skywalker Ranch, and take the whole tour, which was just crazy.
Yeah, I got another good story. I'm sensing a theme here, working on movies. We had gotten a call during Spiderwick from an art director at Lucasfilm. They were working on what became... It was an animated movie George did after the Star Wars prequels, and I'm drawing a blank on what it's called.
Gosh, why?
Strange Magic?
Yes, Strange Magic.
I don't think it was called Strange Magic then, though. I think it had a different working title. Anyway, George wanted me to work on that and draw the fairies for it. And I was all in. I mean, yeah, I'm a kid who grew up in the 70s. Of course I'll work for you, George Lucas. I'll do whatever you want. But
okay, I'm just going to tell you, too, because you think...
the phone rang and I literally almost passed out.
Yes. It literally was like Lucasfilm on caller ID. And here's the thing. We've gotten to experience a lot of cool stuff. I'm not going to lie. Like, absolutely.
Don't lie, Ange.
I'm not lying. But when we went to the ranch, we kind of lost our minds. Like, we definitely had that moment where we freaked out and nerded out and pulled up to the front before we had to go to the security gate.
Yep.
And I think I looked at you and I was like, Tony, just take a moment to let your 9-year-old self know that you are pulling in to Skywalker Ranch right now.
Right. Because George Lucas wants to talk to you about working on... I mean, it was crazy. What crazier still is that I said no.
Well, because they wanted you to...
So they wanted me to move out to San Marino to work on it directly, which I understand why he wanted me out there. But you were pregnant, I think, with Soph at the time, and the Spiderwick movie was in post-production. It was about to hit. And there was just so much going on that a move to California to work on this project seemed not the right... I felt like they'd missed me by 5 years or 10 years.
But even then, I think you really thought about it. And it was also like, okay, so you could design the fairies for a film. Who knew what that would lead to? Were you going to go out and move out there for a year or 2 years or however long they needed you?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, you don't even know if it's going to look like the thing that you designed because there's a bunch of other artists also very talented and working on it.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think that's the thing is I love film and I love movies and I have tons of the behind-the-scene books of how they make certain movies. I love looking at that. It's so incredibly inspiring, whether it's a film like Star Wars or an animated movie like Snow White.
Someone said, what were some of your favorite parts of the ranch? Jen Junkie asked.
His library is the library we all wish we had. It has the ladder that goes up to the shelves, and it has the fireplace. And above the fireplace was an original Maxfield Parrish painting. I want to say it was like Daybreak. I literally think it was...
His original art collection
is
insane.
Yeah, there was Norman Rockwell paintings. And I mean, it was so unbelievably inspiring. But I also felt like I would have been one of the Lotus Eaters. You know what I mean? I would have been in there and years would have gone by. And I would have been in such bliss. I wouldn't even have known it.
But it was also this amazing place because they're like, oh, and here's the chef has made this amazing meal. Like, their food's delicious.
He took good care of his employees.
Basketball and playing tennis. And, they want to keep everyone there working and happy and inspired. So it's like a work resort, Like
I mean, I felt like they treated their employees well. I just felt like it was a step backward if I went and worked there.
The other part which we freaked out was when we were looking in the library
and Spiderwick book was there.
And the Spiderwick field guide was on the shelf.
I might have a photo. I'll post it. That it's like I literally took a quick photo. You're not supposed to take photos there, and I took a quick photo of the Spiderwick field guide where it just says property of Lucasfilm Ranch, which is pretty amazing. I've since gotten to go back a few times to work on the Macquarie book. I got to know a lot of the folks there. They're just absolutely lovely and terrific people. And just feel very fortunate, Ange, really, when I think about it all, when you look back at it. I really do feel
absolutely
like it's an amazing opportunity.
To like a huge
the reason why I am who I am.
Exactly.
That is absolutely. He is a huge reason why I am who I am.
It's like who your DNA parents are, but then you get to see like your creative DNA parents.
And George Lucas and his amazing visionary mind, and working with the likes of of all the talented artists he's worked with, and other visionaries like Jim Henson is, just very. God, I don't really think about that much, Ange. It's kind of weird we're talking about it.
Yeah.
I just kind of keep moving forward, thinking about the next project and what we're doing.
So that has me thinking today about one of the things that was on our mind, which is gratitude today.
Yeah.
And you called up.
No, I didn't call anyone. You texted. I started texting people.
You texted our family doctor.
I did. So I don't know about you guys, but my parents don't live near us. So I've been doing, FaceTime or Skype with my dad and my mom every weekend to check in on them, make sure they're doing all right. They're both over 70. They're both self-quarantining. And it's hard. It was hard for me this weekend. My mom lives by herself, and she usually has the company of my sister. And she said, and she teared up. She's like, I'm really lonely. I feel very alone. And it was really hard for me to hear that because there wasn't a whole lot I could do except what I was doing. And I just told her I loved her, and I promised I would call again in a couple of days to check on her, and we would see each other again and do that. And I made me think of how many other people are also just having feelings, and I guess my day gets so occupied, obviously thinking, Ange, of you and Sophia, and making sure you guys and we're okay. But then the next step you immediately go to is your immediate, the rest of your family, your parents and stuff, brothers, siblings if you have them, cousins, etc. But then today I started thinking about other people in our lives that are also I don't like those feet. That are also just important. So I sent a text to our family practitioner and just said, I don't know how you're doing. I hope you're okay. I hope your family's okay. It must be brutal what you're dealing with, because he's got a lot of elderly patients.
Absolutely. His father, our doctor's father, was a doctor.
Yep.
And so he took over the practice when his father retired.
Yeah.
So now he has all of what were his father's patients and then his own patients as well.
Yeah, comes from a family of doctors, and I just thought he should know that I don't need anything from him. I don't want anything, but just to let him know I was just thinking of him. And he sent me a great text back, kind of told me how his family was doing and everything. And so I started texting people that I just hadn't talked to in a while. And I came up and told Ange, I'm like, I just wanted people to know. So maybe our one request today, maybe think about someone that you're friends with, but maybe it's been so easy to stay out of touch because we're so in our weird little worlds right now. And maybe just send them a quick text and just say, literally, I'm just thinking about you. I hope you're okay. I hope you're safe. And we'll get a little good vibes going, a little mojo, a little love.
I even think of, we have really good friends who are single parents. And this is a really difficult time, for single parents now. So if you have single parent friends, please reach out to them and just check in and make sure everybody's hanging in there, because most of my single parent friends are going slowly insane.
Especially if they have little ones.
Kind of thrown out like, hey, let's have a virtual, meet up after the kids go to bed and hang out a little bit.
Talk a little bit. Talk about anything except the news, or talk about the news if that's going to make you feel better, But even some of the people we work with, they're at home with their kids, and everything's out of order.
So maybe that's your homework. We're assigning homework.
Homework. Think of someone that you haven't, it could be a coworker that you're really friendly with, or maybe it's someone you just haven't talked to in a while, but they're always on your mind.
Or somebody that's by themselves.
That's the one.
We have a friend. He is a child psychologist. He's a great friend of ours.
He loves being by himself.
He has 3 cats, but it was important. We always joke he's been preparing for social distancing his entire life, but you just want to know somebody's thinking about you.
He means a lot to us. His friendship means a lot to us. He may even be listening now. I don't know. I know sometimes he tunes in, but anyway, that's That's it. I'll leave it at that. Just thinking about that and thinking about, because you guys tuning in every day to Ange and I kind of doing our shtick, it does help us a lot. It really does become a highlight of the day. Even if I'm not sure what I'm going to do, I'm never not like I don't want to do it. I'm just usually, there are days where I'm like, oh, crud, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I should have thought about this more. Only because we just have other things going on. And which is why I think I'm probably much more relaxed today, because now I have an assignment. I know what I'm doing. And what I'm doing is over-designing the heck out of this fairy. I feel like
The arms are kind of super pumped up.
Yeah, I was trying to do praying mantis arms, and then I kind of echoed this in this shape, but I feel like it's a little off. It's a good little exercise. I'm certainly warmed up now. I tell you what I'm going to do, actually, though. I'm going to push it to the side and do it, keep going. I feel like I haven't quite found it yet. So let me grab some fresh paper. Ange, maybe you'll take a question while I grab a sheet of paper.
If you guys have questions, let me know. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but yeah, we have those. I know we've talked about this before, but kind of the ups and downs of the emotions of this. Like, we're all still processing this, like, every single day, I think, and it gets even more strange as we settle into this being our actual reality. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
What part of Italy are you from, Ange? So my mom is first generation, I'm second generation, and our family is from Lido di Roma, from Rome. So that's where we are from.
There it is.
Yes.
I'm gonna try one now where I push it more horizontal. I'm gonna take that little shape and just push it way horizontal. I'm just curious.
People.
Group hug. I'm feeling you.
Jason wants to know, how many unused fairy designs do you have?
There's quite a few. Maybe we have a little time. We'll see if I get lucky today and find the sketch. It can take many hours or days or sometimes months, as anybody tuned in while I was just working on the broken ornament, and certainly with Tinsel, the Christmas fairy. It took months to try to figure out what she was. But if I have a little bit of time at the end today, I'll pull a few sketches out. There are still some that I've just never gotten around to painting. I suppose I could have started with one of those, but
Phoenix also said, "What if you flip the flower upside down?"
Oh, someone's thinking. Oh my gosh, looks like a Muppet. It's the Muppet Show with our very special guest. Yay! Yeah, not bad. I'm feeling it this way. That was good though. Thinking, brilliant thinking.
How can you draw when you're down or sad? Alice Bell asks.
Oh, I can do it.
You can.
I can do it. I just do it. Yeah, I've been doing that. I've been prepping for that since I was a teenager. When I was just a moody, sullen teenager, and I'd put on my Pink Floyd and draw.
If you had magic abilities, what animals would your familiars be?
How long can the familiar live? If it can live for a while, I would say a praying mantis for sure. I love praying mantises. But if we're talking about...
Ferrets are fun, but they stink.
They smell. I had a ferret in college. They're smelly. I'm sorry if you're a ferret owner, but I'm speaking the truth.
I love dolphins, but I don't think I could have a dolphin familiar unless I was like my abilities were aquatic.
Yeah.
Superpowers.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I would dig that.
Ooh, I wonder if the wings or whatever kind of do this, even though the arms may be like it, and the thing is, Ange, the arms could be like here.
Does your website have printable fairies?
Yes. I think it does. I just posted a link today. We have a lot of activities on the website that we've, created for various books and stuff over the years. So go take a look. If you're on Facebook, the link is posted to the top of my Facebook page. So you can see it right there.
Magic ferrets don't have to stink.
Magic ferrets don't have to stink, though. They are pretty amazing animals. Oh, well, that definitely was my familiar for many years. Don't like that. And I was thinking about these the I don't know what it's called. I'm guessing they're not called petals, but I thought the idea of them almost dragging or curling on the ground. I'm just not sure if that's the right way to do it either. But I tell you what, Ange, I'm having a good time. I hope you guys are having a good time too, listening to us be.
I literally just got lost. Like, I just started staring out the window and thinking, what would my familiar be?
You're still working on that one.
I was just thinking about it. I was like,
keep working on it. What do you got? What other animals are? I mean, dude, those orchid mantises. Ange, Google.
You want an insect?
Well, because it could go anywhere.
So could a ferret.
I don't know. Not the way an insect could. When a praying we've definitely done the thing where you get the egg cases of the praying mantises and raise them like the Chinese mantises. And there's something that is so cat-like when they're cleaning their antenna. You're like, this thing is smart. I know it's got the brain the size of a pinhead, but I don't know. The way it's clean. They're so fastidious the way they keep themselves clean, which, by the way, flies do. If you notice a housefly when it lands, first thing it does is cleans its hands.
I do like monkeys. Ooh. When I was a kid, I always wanted a pet monkey. I was obsessed. I got this little puppet that looked like a baby monkey. And I used to walk around and I thought, this thing looks really real. Maybe people will think that I have an actual baby monkey as my pet.
That was like a thing in the 70s. I remember growing up in Florida. 80s. But I remember growing up in Florida, people having pet spider monkeys.
Oh, like real monkeys.
They'd have a real monkey. That was like a thing.
It was a thing.
Why would you want a pet monkey?
Because they just look like, you just have they're preening you and hanging out with you.
They hate you the whole time, though. You know that. They hate you the entire time. They're smart enough to know they're a pet.
No.
Yes.
Look how happy the ones were in Tiger King.
Was there monkeys in that?
Yeah.
Oh, there were.
The monkey birthday party.
Oh, God. Chimps. Yeah, those poor chimps. They really know what's going on. They're like, okay, I guess this is
more. Oh, this is
I don't like
less
it.
Umber Hulk and more hookworm.
Oh, nice. Well played. Well said.
Oh, a little bush baby? That would be cute.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to cut them off. I'm going to go here. I'm going to do this instead for the petals.
You want a penguin familiar? I feel like they were stinky too. So we'd have to say whatever our familiars would be, they wouldn't be stinky.
Okay, that's the rule. Because we've been to the penguin at the Atlanta that aquarium there. They have the amazing thing where you can crawl on your hands and knees and you pop up inside the penguin enclosure.
Wait, the quokka. Is that thing that's like smiling all the time?
Yes, I think it is.
Yeah, that would be cute.
That thing is awesome. It's probably like smiling the way dogs smile before they bite. it's smiling, but it actually doesn't like people.
Sugar glider, pocket familiar. Nice.
Ange, can you pull up Orchid Mantis? Please, I have to show the viewers at home what an Orchid Mantis looks like and why it's one of my favorite creatures of all time. I'm still working.
Pretty rad.
It's pretty amazing. Maybe that's...
Yeah, it's funny because orchid mantises, people tag you all the time.
When they see one or have one. I think you can raise those too now. I think you can buy the egg cases and raise them.
Orchid mantis. Look at that guy.
Let me see. Yeah, let me show. That's not even a fully grown one. Here's an orchid mantis. It's a juvenile orchid mantis. That's a real thing. That's not a plastic toy.
It's cool.
It's cool.
It's real cool.
It's cool, bro.
It's cool. Orchid mantis. They haven't done an orchid mantis in like a movie or anything, have they?
We're just giving our ideas away.
Oh.
We just did that.
Magic animals aren't stinky. It's the law. Agree.
I like that. Hey, whoever sent, a couple people you said sent links to Lavender Castle. Was that it, Ange?
Yes. Who was it? If you sent us into that.
Someone sent me...
Magical land.
Someone posted it in the comments, and then someone also sent me the link. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. Amazing. If you don't know what Lavender Castle is, go to YouTube.
Don't tell them anything. Just go look it up.
Yes. I didn't know what to expect, and I, truth be told, I often don't follow links when people send me a link and like, you should look at this. Cause I, let's be honest, I don't know everybody by name. And so I'm like, I'm not clicking that. But this was and you had said enough people were mentioning it yesterday when we were doing our Captain Bara that I've thought, all right, this is real. So I went and looked at it, and it was very entertaining.
Yes, magic animals are not stinky. It is the law, unless the magic is their stink.
Oh yeah, so skunk.
Yes.
Mm-hmm,
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
Like if you're familiar with a stink bug.
But
magic stinking stink bug.
If that's your jam.
Wait, Louisa, your friends say that you look like an orchid mantis and you don't know how to react.
I'm with you on that. That's kind of unless you wear a lot of flowing pink.
Multiple friends have told you this?
Picture, please. That's a strange, unless you're wearing a lot of frilly pink robes, and maybe you do. Hey.
This is the scene with fairies, I think, in it.
Is it? No, I think this is where they're riding the griffin. It's got predatory eyes. It just stares at you.
Oh, yeah, it's the escape from the glade. So this is when they're... Yeah.
That's
I remember that.
the sylph. James Horner. How lucky were they? They had James Horner.
The great James Horner.
The late, great James Horner.
Yeah.
Creating the soundtrack for Spiderwick. That was
crazy.
Yeah, there was a lot of wishes fulfilled during that experience.
Gosh. Come on. He did Braveheart.
Yeah. He do Willow?
Titanic.
I've heard of that movie.
Come on. Legends of the Fall.
That had a good soundtrack. I used to listen to that.
That was a great soundtrack.
Yeah, I remember listening to that way back in the day.
Well, I love it too because a lot of the motifs that he used in his music were like kind of Celtic inspired.
Yes.
So it's great.
I'm looking up close. It almost wants, look at that. Those little dots.
He wrote the score for Avatar. Come on.
Did he really?
Yes.
James Horner, we were not, the ghost of James Horner, we were not worthy. Wow. I don't know how we got, that little hat. I like that. I went back to the source material.
And Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan.
Oh, also a good soundtrack.
Yes.
Oh, we might have a breakthrough. And I feel like it's a little different than what I've done before, which is what if you're wondering why I keep erasing over and over, it's because I feel like I'm doing things I've done before. And I'm trying to push myself into different, so this is kind of cat-like, but hear me out. Look at, it almost looks cat-like, Ange. Look, it looks like it has a tongue and a cat nose. Look, it looks so happy. It's like sticking its tongue out. Oh, you want me to show you here?
Well, because I'm behind on this.
Oh.
So I'm not there yet.
Yeah, see how it looks like the nose and the tongue?
Well, it also looks like the eyes could be up here.
Yes, I know. Well, I could do that. I could do where the eyes are on.
Freaking me out.
You don't like the cat nose? All right, I'll get rid of the cat nose. Maybe it's a tiny nose, this kind of nose. Just a very simple that. Kind of like what I did on Taloa in the Spiderwick sequel books.
Yeah, that's better.
Is that better?
Mm-hmm. Secondary crab eyes. I know they do look like false eyes up there, right?
Well, we talked about false eyes yesterday. Maybe these are serious false eyes, that these are like, they're really dark and maybe even like banded. They're all about...
The lower half of Chester Cheetah's face. Thank you.
Well done.
I know.
Well played.
All right, Dane. See ya. Hopping off for a WebEx call. Have a good one.
Thanks for joining us. Are we at the top of the hour already?
I don't know.
We are. We're almost there. Jeez Louise, that went quick. Having fun. I am going to... I'll draw a little bit longer, and I feel like I might... Oh, there's some interesting stuff happening here. I kind of feel like
that thing sticking up from the center.
The hat? The little kind of hat thing? You're not feeling it? It's weird. I don't know. I kind of like that it's rounded because we're gonna contrast it with these long We're definitely doing those. Those are going to be like antenna.
Thank you.
Those are going to be antenna.
That's better.
So I'm just kind of, I don't know. I feel like there's something there. Let me get a sharper pencil.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
You agree with what?
Getting a sharper pencil.
Yeah, it's getting a little.
Are you going to add those long?
I will eventually. Okay. What? No, what?
That
What?
bumpy thing. That thing.
The hat thing? You don't like that? This?
What are the other possibilities that you could offer?
Well, let's look at we could look at insects, but I'm just looking at the flower only right now. It could be more like this, like it kind of...
So it feels more crown-like?
Could. Also makes it a little more complicated, but, you know.
Kind of unicorny.
Kind of strange.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of leafy. I could push the leaf more. Too leaf.
She's looking drag racy at the minute.
Yeah, I could be overworking her.
You're overworking it.
Yeah.
Just give her a big hairdo.
I mean, that's kind of interesting. This kind of triangular.
You're saying make it like a leaf?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just playing.
Yeah.
I don't know. The good news is we still have the one we did before, so it could be a combination of the two. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just kind of it's just kind of, to be honest with you,
it takes time.
It takes time. I haven't drawn.
This is all about the refinement.
And I haven't drawn fairies, Spiderwicky type fairies in when, Ange? I don't even know. 3 years ago when I did them for the Rockwell, that's probably the last time I did draw any of them. So it's a little bit of kind of welcome back. Kind of just keep going. Let's resume tomorrow.
Tag out.
Yeah, let's resume tomorrow, and we'll keep drawing. I might do a little doodling on the downtime just to see if I can get somewhere. If I can get the face and figure that out, then we can start to figure out where else to go. And the only reason why I would do a little bit of this drawing off the camera is just so we can get to the painting part, because I'm sure that's what you want to see. You guys have watched me draw before. You've watched me struggle already. So I think kind of figuring out more of this, I'll do a little bit in my downtime.
Today's winner.
We
have to announce today's winner.
Who's going to win some reference and some reference of some
today's winner.
Psychopsis papio, the butterfly orchid.
Let me put on some good music for winners.
All right, winner.
Hold on, let me think. Hold on.
I'm gonna throw in something real special for the winner day, Ange.
Ooh, what are you throwing in?
One of the fairies that was used in the Norman Rockwell exhibition. One of the ones from the. This
is awesome.
Whoever wins it, it has a protective little skin. You're just gonna want to peel that off when you're feeling happy. I'm gonna leave it on there right now, just so it makes the trip. Yes. Very nice, very nice. Who's our winner today, Ange?
Today's winner is Jason Alona.
Jason Alona, you're not alona in being a winner.
Jason, congratulations.
Congratulations for tuning in, Jason.
You are the winner
of today's garbage.
This
garbage will include this thing that I always put at the beginning where I've got the date wrong. I'm going to fix it right now. While Ange plays us out.
That's right.
Jason Alona, please send me a direct message on Facebook with your mailing address, and I will put all this stuff in an envelope and send it your way. It's all coming to you, Jason Alona. We will continue the Fairy Odyssey tomorrow. And then you guys think about whether you want me to push through on Friday and keep working on this, or whether we should do draw by request. I'm cool going either way. You guys just let us know.
Yeah, let us know what you're thinking.
And until then, be well, be safe,
Don't forget your homework.
Don't forget your homework.
Reach out to somebody you haven't reached out to.
Since this whole insanity started, let them know you're thinking about them. That's all.
That's it.
That's
We reached out to you today.
We did.
To let you guys know how much you mean to us.
And now you can reach out
Return
to
the
someone.
favor.
Reach out and touch someone. Wasn't that the song, how it went, Ange? You guys have been listening to Drawn to Fantasy. I'm your host, Tony DiTerlizzi, and I'm here with my unbelievably talented and always hilarious wife, Angela DiTerlizzi. Thank you guys for coming and joining us today. We'll see you tomorrow
On
Drawn to Fantasy with the soundtrack by Tom Hoffelder, Rubik's Cube champion of Murray Middle School. Thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.